WordCamp Canada is going to be in Ottawa this year, so to make sure that people get to the right city. And then also remind me the dates.
Yeah, so days 1 and 2 are on the 16th and 17th of October on the campus of Carleton University in Ottawa. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I recall seeing that the keynote speaker is going to be the one and only Dave Weiner, one of the creators of RSS, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we also have a second keynote speaker, and I don't exactly know how to pronounce his name. It's Evan Prodromou, I believe. I don't quote me on that one. I apologize in advance, Evan, if you see this. But we do have him coming up. He's really big in the Fediverse and Activity Pub and stuff like that. In addition to that, we're really close to confirming a third keynote speaker that we're going to bring in for Contributor Day.
Wow. Okay. All
So
right.
there's more big announcements coming our way.
Okay. All right. So the most important thing I think here is that we need to get people to be buying tickets and going to the event. So
Absolutely.
let's go to the website, get your tickets there, start sharing, spreading the word, sharing with everybody that you're going to be attending, and really let's make this one a big event. I'm excited for it.
Me too. $100 for a ticket. I mean, this what, 65 bucks for anyone coming up from the US with the dollar conversion. I mean, where are you going to go for $100 to get 2 or 3 days worth of solid content?
And also be able to join in on Contributor Day, which is always a really fun and fascinating thing. Hey y'all, it's Roger with Kinsta. I'm joined today by my good friend Troy. Hey Troy, how you been?
I'm good, Roger. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Always great to see you and to catch up on everything you've been up to as a WordPress contributor. But before we start getting into the nitty-gritty details, we need to talk about WordCamp Canada, also known as UCA. What's the good news going on in Canada and Ottawa for this event coming up?
I'm getting pretty excited. Just a few weeks ago, we put out our first round of speakers. I think we had 17 speakers for a total of 16 sessions that we announced there late July. And I think up to actually, I got a note right here because we were talking about this yesterday. I have at this point we have 22 confirmed sessions for 24 speakers, and we're really close to having a final schedule in place. So that's a big one. Lots of great talks, lots of great speakers coming up. Super excited to see this lineup come together. And in addition to that, just over the last couple of days, we've been working hard at trying to add our Contributor Day. So now that looks like we're going to be adding our Contributor Day for the 15th of October. We have some potential sponsors on board here. So, we're starting to, get the gears turning a little bit on Contributor Day. What does that look like? We have a lot of great folks that have been interested in joining workshops. So we're aiming to do a contributor day with a workshop day as well, so we can get some folks in there, start training them, and do some really great quality sessions there. Also, WordPress Accessibility Day happens on the 15th of October as well. So I've reached out to the organizers there, and I'd like to explore what we can do about a collaboration effort there and how we can better support Accessibility Day. And, to me, accessibility is really important. I work at a university and it's very important in my world. And I do a lot of work around accessibility as well. So I really love the idea of being able to collaborate with that group as well.
All right, so a lot of stuff to unpack here. So as a reminder, WordCamp Canada is going to be in Ottawa this year, so to make sure that people get to the right city. And then also remind me the dates. You said October 15th for the Contributor Day. What are the rest of the dates for the event?
Yeah, so days 1 and 2 are on the 16th and 17th of October on the campus of Carleton University in Ottawa. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right. And so, wow, that's a lot of speakers, a lot of activity going on. Very exciting. I recall seeing that the keynote speaker is going to be the one and only Dave Weiner, one of the creators of RSS. So that's pretty exciting. That's a pretty big get.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we also have a second keynote speaker, and I don't exactly know how to pronounce his name. It's Evan Prodromou, I believe. I don't quote me on that one. I apologize in advance, Evan, if you see this. But we do have him coming up. He's really big in the Fediverse and Activity Pub and stuff like that. In addition to that, we're really close to confirming a third keynote speaker that we're going to bring in for Contributor Day.
Wow. Okay.
So
all right.
there's more big announcements coming our way.
Okay, all right. So the most important thing I think here is that we need to get people to be buying tickets and going to the event. So
Absolutely.
let's go to the website, get your tickets there, start sharing, spreading the word, sharing with everybody that you're going to be attending, and really let's make this one a big event. I'm excited for it.
Me too. $100 for a ticket. I mean, this what 60, $65 for anyone coming up from the US with the dollar conversion. I mean, where are you going to go for $100 to get 2 or 3 days worth of solid content?
And also be able to join in on Contributor Day, which is always a really fun and fascinating thing, which I think is a perfect segue for talking about WordPress contributions that you've been up to. So let's talk a little bit about what you've been up to with the WordPress project.
My main focus, I think, in the last month or so was an article that I had started to write a couple months ago and then got sidetracked for various other reasons. So I wanted to come back. One of the things I love the most with where I like to contribute is writing. So I plan to do an advanced multi-block article for a while now. So I finally kind of, sat down and put that one together. So I put that one in for review yesterday. So hopefully within a couple of weeks, we'll get that thing reviewed and up on the blog. In the meantime, I've just been diving more into Gutenberg issues, trying to find more areas where I can contribute. There's a couple areas in the design area that I was really interested in. So I kind of made a few comments there. I've made a few, I guess, proposals or a few comments there on things that, I'd like to be involved in. So I'm just kind of waiting. It's not a faster process because design, there's lots of things, lots of people involved, lots of decisions to be made. And, you got to make the right decision. So I find when you're diving into anything design, it's got to be with a lot of patience and you just got to sit around and wait for the decisions to be made. And in the meantime, I've done a few other smaller contributions on tickets that have come up that I've seen. I think there was an accessibility one that I did pick up on a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago, and I think that got released in a recent version of Gutenberg. So
Very exciting. All right. So you've got an article coming out. What are some of the articles that you've written previously? And I know we've talked about a few, but it's always great to just recap what you've been up to.
the first one I wrote was actually, it's like the first part of the new article that I'm writing. The first one I wrote was around building a multi-block. And at that time, it was taking the approach of like mashing all of the assets together, potentially serving it off a CDN. It kind of got away from sort of like one of the beauties of a block plugin or the blocks themselves where they're sort of self-contained. They load when they need to load and they don't load anything, when it's not needed. So what I did on this one, I took a step back and I wanted to make sure that we were loading blocks the way that you would expect a block plugin to load. In addition to that, some of the comments from the first article were around like, well, how can we incorporate interactive blocks? Because at the time I was focused on building dynamic and static at the same time. So from those comments, I kind of figured out how to do that. And then I built out what I thought was a great starter tool that lets us build static, dynamic, and interactive blocks all in one package. In addition to that, it supports front end or block editor or admin side JavaScript with some Webpack functionality. So you can start adding like block variations or block style variations. So you have this one nice plugin that just really helps you build faster and not have to manage build tools on several different plugins and whatnot.
Very cool. And I'm assuming that that is available for public access and usage.
Yes, it is. There will be a repo that will be available in I think it's the WordPress training team area of GitHub. That will be linked up in the article.
Okay.
So in addition to that, some of the other articles where I wrote one around hybrid themes and like what block features could be used in a hybrid theme. That was a lot of fun because at the time I didn't actually know a lot of that. So those were things that I had to learn and then actually turn those into things that I started building into some of the work I do. So it was a really great learning experience. And at the end, I think we got a really great article out of it. And I took the same approach with something as simple as block categories. Like I didn't really know there was a bit of a depth to a block category. I thought it was just like, hey, register a category and do your thing. But no, you can move it around, you can deregister, you can rename. So there's a lot of stuff that you could do that I wasn't even aware of before I wrote the article.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. All right. So, and also just to, make sure everybody watching understands, we're talking about the very developer end of using WordPress here. So if you're lost and you're not a developer, don't worry about it. But if you're a developer, this is definitely the stuff that you should be diving into and really digging into what the Gutenberg editor is capable of and, the ways that you can manipulate it and use it even further. This stuff is always really fascinating to hear, even if I'm never going to touch it, right? But it's really awesome to know how flexible this whole system is and advanced at the same time. So really, really awesome hearing about all of that. Transitioning here just a little bit, talking about contributor days. It's early August, so we've got WordCamp US coming up later this month. There'll be a contributor day for that. WordCamp Canada, you've mentioned in October, is going to have a contributor day. When you are approaching a contributor day, what is kind of your mental process for deciding like what tables, what teams are you going to work with? And then once you're there, how are you going to best take advantage of having face-to-face interaction with other contributors?
Last year, I went into WordCamp Canada with a very definitive goal. At that point, I'd been working in WordPress for 15, 16 years, and I've never actually made like a contribution to anything code related. I'd always done like support in forums or various things like that. So last year, I had a goal of just trying to figure out how I could contribute to Gutenberg. And, I achieved that goal. I met the right folks. We figured it all out. I think this year, my focus has changed. Like, I really want to get more involved on the accessibility side. That to me is top of mind, especially knowing that we're overlapping with WP Accessibility Day. I think there's a fantastic opportunity to do some collaboration here and to really raise awareness of accessibility on the web. So I really want to put my focus there. But at the end of the day, there could be other spots I might want to jump into, or I'm not really sure what my role might be on Contributor. Like I want to be more involved and help others as well. Like I was helped last year. I want to be able to do the same for folks and at least steer them in the right direction. So I might take on a few different roles during that day.
Okay, all right. So it'll be a busy day for you. And I think that's what's really exciting about Contributor Day is you've got new people coming in who maybe they've done some stuff online, but maybe they just don't understand the process very well. They've not actually talked with people in person, which just changes everything. And then you have the advanced users who are helping the new users and showing them the ropes a little bit. And so it's really awesome to see like that part of the project and the community actually coming together in person and really developing much more of a community about how the whole project works. So really exciting stuff. Huge thanks to you for contributing and to all the contributors for contributing to the project. It's a constant thing I'm trying to remind people of is that WordPress is completely built by volunteers.
Mhm.
And we need to, thank the volunteers for doing this work and then try and do our best to help volunteer ourselves. Very exciting stuff always. Troy, great to talk with you. Is there anything else that I'm kind of missing talking about, whether it's WordCamp Canada or the WordPress project in general, that you kind of wanted to highlight?
There is one item that I've been working on just on a personal level. I've been maintaining and building a block accessibility check plugin, just kind of going back to my desire to want to do more in the accessibility space. One of the things that I learned at WordCamp last year was post locking. There's a feature in Gutenberg around post locking. So what I did is I did some work around that and I figured out how to put conditional logic around block attributes. And then in turn, I could block posts from being published if they didn't meet criteria.
Hmm.
So what I ended up wanting to do here for a public thing, I wanted to put out a plugin that allowed content creators to install the plugin and be able to choose whether they wanted to show warnings, errors, or just ignore them in general. So they have full control over their content. So a button, for example, like a button is required to have text and is required to have a URL at a minimum. I mean, outside of the whole contrast ratio stuff. But right now, like by default with WordPress, you can publish a button without either one of those, and then creates a poor user experience. So what I did is I gave an option that you could turn both of these on, and that way, when you're writing content on your site, and if you forget to put a link in there because you're kind of going through things really quickly, the system will tell you. So it'll either block you or it'll give you a warning and gives you a nice little message in the sidebar, tells you exactly what you've done wrong and how to address it. So what I did recently over the summer was I built a developer API in that plugin and I released version 2.0 a couple weeks back. So what that developer API allows any other block developer to do is through a couple of really simple PHP functions and then one additional JavaScript file, they can leverage all of the checks that happen in my plugin so they can do validation on their own blocks. And it doesn't need to be about accessibility. You can go and make it validate against any of the attributes you want in your block. And I'm sure you can go beyond attributes. If you can do it in JS or PHP, you can validate it through that connection with the developer API. So I really wanted to put out something that other people could use and not just like look at the functionality that I was putting out there, but for other folks to be able to, build their own stuff alongside of it. So it integrates really seamlessly, and it also integrates into the options page that I've developed for my plugin. So developers don't really need to do a lot to leverage that system. So I'm pretty excited to put that one out there.
That's really awesome. All I'm thinking of is when I go to send an email where I've said I've attached the document and I hit send and Gmail goes, are you going to attach the document? So this sounds really cool from a publishing perspective. What's the name of this? Do you have any names for it?
It's called the block accessibility checks.
Okay.
I wanted to focus on the accessibility side. I didn't really think about the validation. My goal at that point was to how could I help content creators do a bit more on the accessibility side. And it's only in hindsight now that I kind of look back going, well, there should have been an aspect of validation in there because it can be used for a wider purpose.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with what it is because, I really like to do more around accessibility.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I dig it. All right, so we'll have links to all of everything that we can link to in the show notes. People check that stuff out. We need everybody to go to the WordCamp Canada website and buy their ticket. Buy 2 tickets. I mean, what the heck? Why not? And then make some plans to drive up to Ottawa in middle of October for WordCamp Canada. It's going to be awesome. Troy, as always, it's great to talk to you. If people want to reach out to you and talk to you about something, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can find me on Slack. I'm pretty active most of the day on the Make WordPress Slack, or if you go to wpslack.ca, you'll find information on how to join the WordPress Canada Slack group as well.
Beautiful. All right. Troy, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing
Thank you,
you again
Roger.
soon. Absolutely, man.
Cheers.